guys, it's Natalia, and today I have a Q&A video for you guys because I get DMs constantly all the time about just like studying abroad or like traveling and all of this stuff. So I just thought it'd be more beneficial for all of us if I just did a full Q&A video rather than just like DMing everybody privately and then have people asking me the same things over and over again, because it does get repetitive. And like, although I do answer every DM and I do like try to be helpful, like sometimes it's just easier for me to put on video form because I don't always have the time to like explain everything fully in DM and all this. So here I am. Also, I'm sorry if there's a lot of background noise. I currently have you sitting on my window and it's open because this is the best lighting and I have no other place to put my camera, so I'm just gonna keep it there. And also, it's nice fresh air right now. So I put up a story on my Instagram the other day asking you guys to send in questions if you had any over, you know, all of my study abroad or just any questions in general. Okay, so I sent this in a few days ago. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start answering some. So one of the first questions is, have you learned Italian? As you know, I am studying abroad in Italy. I'm in Florence, and yes, I have learned Italian. I'm not fluent at all. Like, for me personally, since I speak Spanish and French, I can like learn languages pretty easily, or at least like audibly I can like learn them pretty well. So I feel like I can understand a lot of Italian, but I can't necessarily speak it back yet. But I am continuing Italian lessons throughout my college career, and I do plan on minoring in it along with French. So that's that. But my classes are in English, so it's not like I can really learn it, but I do like try to speak Italian when I'm out on the streets, if I'm like ordering at places or stuff like that. I do try to like, you know, add that in or like listen in to people and like try to just be influenced by it. But I wouldn't say I'm like fully fluent after a full year or anything, because my school just does not allow us to have the time to like really dive into the language, but wish it did. The next question is, was it a really hard adjustment period? Now a lot of you have asked this because you're like planning on studying abroad and you're scared of like that like first month that you're here. It's kind of hard sometimes because it's like a culture shock if you've never been there before, or like, I don't know, there's just a lot of things that are going to be different from your like normal life at home. And honestly, for me, I don't think I had much of an adjustment period. I felt really comfortable right away because I was born European, like I was born in Spain. And though I live in the US, I like constantly come to Europe all the time. Like my parents have always brought us here throughout our childhood. I come here so often that Europe feels very homey to me, and it's never been anything of a culture shock because it's very similar to my own culture and like the stuff that me and my family do. For me personally, it wasn't much of an adjustment. I just think it was very exciting, and I was just like happy-go-lucky the whole time. But yeah, I don't think it was that difficult for me, but I do know that it was difficult for some other people because, you know, like language barrier can be like difficult or frustrating sometimes, or like the food's different, or like, you know, your lifestyle's different. We like walk everywhere. You don't just have your car to go wherever. Like you have to go like grocery shopping, you have to like walk to go grocery shopping and bring it all back, and like, you know, things like that that you don't really think about. But for me personally, it was totally fine, and I feel like I'm just very like open-minded, like willing to accept like whatever's around me, and like I'm very like easily adaptable. So, and it wasn't my first time abroad either because I studied abroad in high school for a summer. So I just feel like I had a lot of experience before that helped me like not have this adjustment period, whereas if it had been my first time like ever out of the country, or like all this stuff, like I feel like it would have been hard. Someone asked what type of clothes to pack / what important things to pack for Florence specifically. Let me tell you, I brought so many clothes over here. Not even like half my closet, but still a lot of clothes, because, you know, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to fashion school, like everybody's gonna dress up every single day, like I can't repeat an outfit, like all this stuff. Like I was freaking out because I didn't know what the vibe was, right? And honestly, it is like that kind of vibe. Like everybody does dress up, and like nobody really cares if you're the same thing twice. That's just like in my head, but everybody does dress up nice every day, and like, you know, they try to look good, and like it's obviously like just very fashionable and like stylish and all this. So I brought a lot of clothes, but I ended up not using like half of them, so I sent them back with my boyfriend over winter break when he came to visit because I just had too many. But yeah, I would say pack basics. I like every time that I reach for something in my closet right now, I always reach for like basics, and I always reach for like a white shirt and like funky pants, or like a black shirt and like a cute skirt, or like, you know, like I just go for basics. I have some like fun outfits or whatever, like funky stuff, but like for the most part I like to go for basics, and I feel like a lot of people do wear basics, like at least at Polimoda, which is a school I'm studying abroad at. Everybody just wears black all the time, so you could easily just wear black all the time and fit in perfectly. But Florence does have a variety of weather that it goes through, so I would pack for every season if you're gonna be here the full year. I know most people only do a semester, but I did a full year, so I packed like summer, winter, like fall, spring, everything. So just like make sure you look up like the seasons of the place that you're gonna be like studying abroad at, and see like the normal temperatures that it's usually at, and kind of pack accordingly to that, but don't overpack, because that was my mistake. The next one, they want to know more about Polimoda, which is the school I'm studying at. So I am a student at FIT at the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York. I'm a freshman, but I decided to study abroad my first year here in Florence, which is with Polimoda, which is an incredible school. It's also one of like the top schools in the world. It's the top one in Italy. Like, incredible, beautiful school. The professors are amazing. Everything's just really great. I really love it here. I'm kind of sad to leave, not gonna lie, but it's very I don't know like what to say about Polimoda, because I'm not really a Polimoda student, so I don't do their curriculum. I don't know what classes they take. I take FIT classes, but we just use Polimoda facilities and professors. But yeah, but just like walking around there and being there, I think it's really cool. I really like the vibe of it. The students are all really cool. They make really cool stuff all the time. They're very artsy, very creative minded. Yeah, I just think it's a really cool school. So if you're planning on applying, like, you definitely should. I think it's really cool. So the next question is, how are you able to afford it? So I get this a lot. Everybody asks me about like money, how I afford to like study abroad, how I afford to travel, all this stuff. For my school personally, I don't know about every other school, but there's no extra cost for studying abroad. Like, I pay the same tuition that I do at FIT for my entire year here, so there's no extra additive cost. It would be the same as doing my freshman year in New York. So as far as that goes, it's the same. There's no extraness. It just depends on like your living situation. Like, I live in an apartment, most of us live in apartments. There's also like a student like hotel thing, and it just depends on your price range. You can find things that are really cheap or things that are more expensive, and it just like kind of depends on you. But you can definitely just find things that fit your budget. Like, I know there's people that are paying like $300 a month for their rent, and some people are paying like $800. It just depends on you and your preferences and like how you want to live and how much money you have to spend and all this stuff. But like, it's definitely easy, I would say. It would, like, I think it's the same as being in New York. Like, if I was in New York, I'd also be buying my food every week, like grocery shopping, and it's the same as it is here. Stuff like that. Like, I feel like people think it's all these extra costs, but besides like the flight over, I don't think it is any extra cost as it would be a normal year, besides obviously my like weekend travels and all this stuff. But that's something that like I saved up for, and I pay for all of those myself, which has been a lot. But that's not something you have to do if you're studying abroad, but if you do, I would recommend just like making enough money so that you can do that, because I feel like you might as well. Someone said, I'm gonna study undergrad in fashion design at Polimoda. I'm from Oregon. Do you have any advice? I would say just be very creative, open-minded, just like really think outside the box, because Polimoda is one of those very artsy schools. Like, they're like design schools, I feel like or like fashion schools. Like, FIT is more like commercial, I would say, and it's more like what's gonna sell, whereas I feel like Polimoda is more of like the artsy, like do these crazy avant-garde things, you know? So if you're gonna apply, I don't really know much of their application process, I'm not sure, but I would just say like be very like creative, artsy, like really like be unique to yourself, because that's what they like, and that's like definitely their vibe. Someone asked, are you in John Cabot or a different university? I'm at FIT, as I said before, but I'm studying in Polimoda. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people get that confused a lot, because they think I'm like studying in Polimoda, but like I'm technically not a Polimoda student. But I get questions about Polimoda all the time, and I'm like, I don't know how to answer because I'm not like actually a student. Someone said, what are all the international things like passports, visas, etc.? So to study, at least in like Italy or probably any other European Union country or whatever, you definitely need a study visa. But I am a European citizen, so I didn't need a visa because I'm already a citizen, so there's no need for me to like have permission to be here, you know. But yeah, everybody else in my program has visas, like study visas, like student visas. But I'm not really sure how that process works because I didn't have to get one, so I'm very sorry. But like obviously, yeah, you would need like your passport to be up to date. I think you definitely just have to go to the consulates and just kind of work it out with them. Like I'm sure your school will help you. I know FIT like kind of helped out with it, I think. I'm not really sure because I literally did not go through this process, so I'm no help at all. Someone asked, did you know anyone before you started studying abroad? No, because as I said, I am a freshman, therefore I haven't even gone to the actual college in New York yet, so I don't even know like anybody. So yeah, I just came here not knowing anybody. I had found a few people on Instagram, which are my 2 roommates that I had found, and then we like decided to room together because we were the only people we knew, and it worked out just fine for us, luckily. But yeah, I really didn't know anybody at all because I'm pretty sure I'm like the only person here that's from the Midwest in the US. Everybody's like East Coast, West Coast, and I'm like that random person in the middle. So yeah, I didn't know anybody, and it was kind of intimidating, I'm not gonna lie, because I'm not really extroverted. I'm pretty ambiverted, I guess is what I would say. Like I'm pretty in between. So like I can be pretty shy at first sometimes, but like once I like know you or like kind of know you or feel like somewhat comfortable in the situation, I can be very outgoing. I was definitely like a little nervous at first, like the first day that we went to like orientation stuff. I was like but at that point I had already met my 2 roommates, so like we went together, which was helpful. I think I would have freaked out if I went by myself, because I just don't do well like meeting people. Sometimes I just like freak out a little bit, but it was fine. And like now my classmates and I, there's only 14 of us, and we're all like super close, and we all like hang out and see each other every single day for every single class. But like it's a great time. But I feel like everybody who studies abroad, like you eventually like you make friends with people who are here because it's just what naturally happens. Like I don't think that's something you have to worry about. As long as you're open to friendships and open to like allowing people to be in your life, then you're just naturally going to make friends like with people in your classes and stuff. Like that's just something that naturally happens, and I don't think it's anything you have to necessarily worry about because I just feel like it always works out, you know. Someone asked, how did you get to use your first year in Italy with FIT? So FIT has this thing where you can do your freshman year in Italy, but nobody knows about it because they don't really promote it, which is so weird. So I was sending in my application back in like what, 2017, like December or whatever, and it at the very end of it, before you hit submit, it like reassures like, oh, you're trying to apply for like fashion design. And then I saw like, yes, fashion design, but then they also had fashion design in Italy, and I was like, what? So then I was like, might as well. So I clicked it. I literally didn't even like think about it or anything. I was like, I told my parents, I was like, what if I just like do it in Italy? And they're like, okay. And I was like, okay. So I just clicked it and went for it. My thought process personally is like, FIT is a very competitive school, so I thought maybe it'd be easier for me to get in if I applied to the Italy program, because I'm sure not a lot of people applied to that because most people want to be in New York. So I just thought maybe I'd have a higher chance of getting in that way. But yeah, I got in and accepted, and it was great, and I would not have wanted it any other way. I think it's so much fun that I've been here all year, and I just love it so much. The next question is FIT hard to get into? And as I said, it is a competitive school. Specifically to fashion design, like only like 12% get in, something crazy like that. Like only 250 a year get in, which is not a lot of people out of a lot of applicants. But even the like fashion business majors is very competitive as well. They're very, very good. So I would say it is definitely a very competitive and hard school to get into. I think you definitely just have to be a very passionate person, a very hardworking person, and obviously like have some sort of knowledge in whatever field you're going into, and you know, hope for the best. If you don't get in, then like maybe it wasn't meant to be, or you can try again the next year, you know. Like I just feel like things happen for a reason, so I don't think you should stress out if things don't work out for a certain college, you know. Someone asked FIT times Italy with Polimoda. Not all of FIT times Italy is with Polimoda, because Polimoda is for first and second year of fashion design, and I want to say third and fourth of FBM. but FIT also has a program in Milan with the Politecnico di Milano. That's for 3rd and 4th year fashion design. So you do have options, but it also just depends. Just do your research on it. They have it all on their website. It's kind of confusing. Someone else asked, how do you handle being so far from friends and family? It is difficult, let me tell you. I grew up very like family oriented, and like my family like always had dinners together. Like we never missed a dinner together. Like we always had meals together. Like we always like watched TV together. Like, you know, we were very like close as a family, so it's definitely hard. But I'm also the second child. I'm the youngest, so I feel like once my brother left and it was just like me and my parents, and I kind of got the vibe of that, I don't know, I guess I just kind of got used to this whole like, oh, not all 4 of us are going to be together all the time kind of deal, and it's been easier for me. But I also think that I'm just very easily adaptable, and I don't get too homesick ever really, because I just like to live in the moment and live where I am and not kind of think about like what could be happening or anything like that, because I just don't think that's like a good way to live. Sorry, my legs are falling asleep, shifting. And as far as friends, I think it's also hard because it's our first year of college, so everybody went their separate ways, and communication is hard as far as like everybody's schedules and time difference and all this stuff. But you know, the people that really do care about you and the people that you really do care about, you're going to do your best to keep in touch. And or if you don't keep in touch necessarily, that doesn't mean you're not friends anymore. Like one of my best friends, Jay, hello if you're watching, like we don't really talk. Literally we've talked maybe like, we talked over FaceTime like once this entire year, but like I know as soon as we get home, like it's gonna be like nothing happened, you know. Like there's just friendships that you know are gonna last, and friendships that maybe aren't, and that's okay too. Like I don't think that friendships should hold you back from studying abroad or anything, because you know, life happens, things happen, like people stay in your life for a reason, or people leave for a reason. You know, you can't miss an opportunity for people back home. I don't think that would be right. And even like you guys all know, like I'm dating Paul, like I have a boyfriend, and long distance has been difficult, you know. It's not like the easiest thing in the world, but I also think that, again, it's not like I was going to miss this opportunity to be here a full year because I have like a boyfriend back home. Like I don't feel like I need to be in the same place as him to still grow with him. And I think it's been really good for us to like have this distance, just to like really be good with like communication and like all this stuff. Like I feel like there's always like pros and cons to everything. I don't think that everything is bad. I think that you learn from every experience and you grow as a person, and you know, sometimes you need to be away from home to really like find yourself and find like who is really like supposed to be in your life, or who you really want in your life. And I think it's been something really good for me, especially freshman year of college, because that's, you know, when everything kind of changes and people like kind of change or like find their differences and all this. So I think it's been really good for me to do that, because sometimes I tend to hold on to people that I shouldn't be holding on to necessarily, or like holding on to friendships that just don't need to be held on to. So I think this year has just been really good for me in that sense. So I feel like it hasn't been that difficult, because I found my group of friends here. Like I've had the time of my life, but I know when I go home, like my family's still gonna be there, my friends are still gonna be there, so it's not like I've like been held back, you know. Someone asked about underrated spots in Italy. So I am actually working on a travel blog right now. I've always kind of wanted to do this. I like technically have a blog, and I like low-key did travel stuff on it like a few years ago, but it was never anything like serious or like really well done or anything. But I've just traveled so much this year, and I know I'm gonna continue traveling for like the rest of my life, and that's just something that I love. It's a big passion of mine, and like I'd rather spend my money on like traveling than even like buying more clothes, even as a fashion design major, you know. Like that's just something that like I think that travel is the only thing that money can really like buy that makes you happy, and I just plan on continuing that. And obviously I am young, I'm literally 19, and a lot of you guys just ask me like, how do you afford to travel all the time? Because I don't have a steady job, obviously. Like I'm living in Italy right now, I can't have a job. besides like YouTube that I get like some money, but like it's not even like that much either. I do pay for all of my travels. My parents have not paid for a single one of my trips besides my flight to Spain for Christmas, but that's like different because that's like my flight home for family, you know. But other than that, I've paid for every single trip that I've been on this year, and that is a lot of trips. And honestly, I just saved up a lot of money before coming here because I had like my graduation, so I had a lot of graduation money and made a lot of prom dresses, so I got a lot of money off of that. I sold a lot of my clothes. I was on YouTube, so that also always helps. I used to nanny all through high school, so I had a lot of money saved up because I knew that if I got into FIT and I went to Italy, that I would need the money to travel and I'd want to travel. So I saved all my money for that, and I am still using it to this day. So as I was saying, I'm making a travel vlog because I just feel like I have a lot of experiences and a lot of like tips and tricks that I feel like I could share, especially because I am so young and I'm traveling. I feel like it's harder to find people that do that than like, you know, 20-some-year-olds that have like nice jobs and like can afford to pay for it and all this. Like obviously I don't have like a legit job to pay for this, but I still do. So I'm starting a travel blog that will have all of my like best tips and tricks, like hidden spots, hidden gems, and I have like a whole section dedicated to hidden gems of Italy. So I will have that up sometime this summer. I obviously just don't have the time to like fully work on it this year because I have so much schoolwork, but I have it started and I'm just gonna go at it this summer and finish it, publish it for you, because I just feel like it'd be very beneficial, and I get a lot of questions all the time about people asking me about like underrated spots in this place or like best places in this place and blah blah blah, like all this stuff. So I'm gonna have that up. But to answer the question, some of my favorite like hidden gems in Italy have been definitely Verona, which like is a popular city but not really that popular. I feel like I don't know, I just feel like it's not as like popularized as like Rome or Milan or Venice, you know. But Verona was beautiful, and that's where the Juliet balcony is. But like more than that, like it just has the most beautiful streets, like a nice little river. We had the best time. We found this beautiful garden there and we went for a little day trip, but that was super fun. We also went to Arezzo for the Christmas market, and it was so cute too because it's like a tiny little town and it was beautiful and so decorated. Like Italy and Christmas is beautiful because they light up all the streets and they have little Christmas markets, and it was such a good time. So I definitely loved that. But also like San Gimignano and Siena were absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, those are some of my favorites, but I definitely have more, and I am going to publish that soon. Follow me on Instagram at Natalia.Trevino to stay updated, because I'm probably gonna like announce it on there when I do publish it. And yeah, that is it for the questions. So if you guys have any more questions, leave them down below and I will get to them as soon as I possibly can. Hopefully I've answered everything. If not, again, just leave them down below. I will try to get to you. And again, don't forget to follow me on social medias at Natalia.Trevino on Instagram for my fun little, you know, travel pictures and updates, and at Trevino17 on my Twitter for some fun memes and cute little fashion posts. And yeah, that is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting me this entire year. I just feel so blessed that I can like share all this with you guys, and you guys really enjoy hearing about it, so thank you. And that's it. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.